everyone, welcome back to Trek A Day. Today we have the latest Star Trek Strange New Worlds novel, Ring of Fire, by David Mack, who should be a familiar name for fans of Star Trek books. And I talked a little bit about this when I very first picked this up, I guess it was, last week. I had a chance to read through it, and it was pretty good. It was one that sets up an interesting murder mystery aboard a station run by civilian scientists who are very clearly hiding something. There is something top secret going on at this facility, as well as their unwillingness to cooperate in a murder investigation, really frustrating on in the beginning and slowly building to reveal the secrets that this facility and the people within are hiding, as well as the possibility of sabotage and a time travel element that actually works well within the story. Overall, it ends up being a fun, high-stakes adventure. Overall, an enjoyable read. I don't really want to reveal a whole lot more because it's a very new book, but if you have been enjoying the previous Strange New Worlds novels, check this one out. I will say on more of the, not necessarily negative side, but more cautionary side, this takes place squarely within Season 3, which has not garnered the most favorable fan reception that season, although it does touch upon a few things that are very clearly from Season 3, such as the Spock and La'an sort of romantic situation and a couple other things here and there. It's very, very minimal, to the point of not quite inconsequential to the plot, but I don't think it's something that is going to bother anyone who straight up hates Season 3 of Strange New Worlds. If you are a fan enough of the show to actually go ahead and read this book, even if you really dislike Season 3, I think the elements that squarely place this within the time frame of taking place in Season 3, I don't think those things are significant enough to make you not enjoy the book. I really think this is still an overall pretty solid Star Trek adventure, and if this had been an episode of Season 3, it would have been by far the best episode. The writing is far superior to anything that we saw in that season, so I will say that. It is so far, again, it's not really on the negative, but more on the side of it is my least favorite so far of the 4 Strange New Worlds books, but that doesn't mean, again, that it's bad. It just, to my taste, is my least favorite, kind of narrowly beating out Toward the Night. I'd say my favorite so far has been Asylum, easily, then The High Country, then Toward the Night, and then Ring of Fire. It's definitely a fun one to pick up, but I do have to mention those couple things that I don't think it's quite as good as some of the previous ones, and if you really were turned off by Season 3 and this is not going to be something that's a big game changer, and is going to change your mind and it's not really, in my opinion, a must-read Star Trek book in the most general sense, but it's still a fairly good Strange New Worlds book, and I have been enjoying the books, I think, more so than a lot of the show. Even though I do like some of the show, especially within Season 1, I think the books have been a little more successful in articulating the premise of Strange New Worlds, and this is no exception. Even though it's not a truly spectacular standout Star Trek novel, it is one that I found enjoyable to read over a couple of evenings, and one that I liked enough that I will eventually go back and reread it at some point. So it's a pretty solid Star Trek Strange New Worlds adventure, just not one of those kind of must-have instant classics, and I'd be a little more cautious depending on what your feelings are with the current state of Strange New Worlds and picking it up, especially with the high price of newer releases, paying between $25 to $30. Maybe you might want to wait a little bit or see if it gets a paperback if you're not quite as certain about this one.